Hi, Dave.
Hey, Steven, how are you, man?
I'm all right, thank you. We were just having a conversation with Brian Bogart, and
Ryan, yeah, I caught the last 15 minutes of it. I love the shout out. Now I got to really perform, huh?
I love where you are seated, and I love the company, Rhino reputation there. But let's delve right into it here. I'm going to give a quick introduction, a 10-second introduction, but I don't want to steal your thunder here. So Dave is owner of Rhino Reputation, specializes in branding and reputation management with a diverse background that spans law enforcement, I think, and stand-up comedy and business leadership all combined together. But Dave, look, I don't want to steal your thunder. Tell us a little bit more about yourself before we delve into the mix.
Awesome, Steven. Well, first off, I am super excited to be here. Glad to be sharing some time with your audience, and hopefully some people here are going to get some actionable things that they can walk away with all these amazing speakers. And how cool is it to have an international live event right now with people globally, all over the world jumping on and speakers from all over the country, all over the world. Super cool. A little bit about me. I'm a seasoned executive, investor, entrepreneur. I've got a portfolio of companies. One of them is Reputation Rhino, which we acquired about 2.5 years ago. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today is how the world is changing and the obstacle of first online first impressions and how the world has changed. And if you're not evolving and changing with it, it's going to be an obstacle for you. But let's talk about how we can turn that obstacle into an opportunity. I'm a growth and scale specialist. I am the CEO of Reputation Rhino, but my superpower is leading teams of A players and helping you look your best online.
Amazing. Okay, so let us delve right into it here. So, leveraging personal brand for business success. So, with your vast experience here in branding, reputation, share how entrepreneurs, business leaders, individuals, how could they leverage their personal stories, unique backgrounds to enhance their online brand or even just their normal brand? How can they gain that competitive edge? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so first off, one of the questions comes up is, does my online brand really matter? And so I think we have to attack that first for people to understand the importance of why it matters versus how they should do it. Because this is a newer concept for most people. Online reputation management or brand building or having a personal brand is a concept that most people don't completely understand. Guys, we are in the age of the influencer, where you can just jump behind a camera and all of a sudden you're a somebody. And so you have to understand how we're changing and evolving. We live on our cell phones. We have mobile phones attached to us at any given time. COVID fast forwarded that to an exponential degree too, because we had people inside stuck doing nothing. More eyeballs went online. And really, what I like to say is your reputation is your strongest form of currency. I'm going to say that again. Your reputation is your strongest form of currency. So when we understand that what is it, 5.6 billion Google searches happen a day. That's 63,000 seconds or 63,000 searches every second. You got to understand people are going online before making their buying decision. Just in the last couple of years, we've seen a 617% increase in people going online, consumers going online to Google, Facebook, and other places to leave and read reviews. Not 85% of these consumers will trust an online review just as much as a personal recommendation from a friend. So if mom says you should go try this restaurant and I
Mhm.
read that online, I'm going to distinguish that online review the same as if my mom told it to me. And that's crazy because sometimes the reviews online are not correct. 78% of people who said they look up information before they decide to work with people or businesses or to interact with them even. Here's the craziest fact, Stephen. 74% of people have already decided on who they will most likely do business with based on the information that they find about them online or that they didn't find out about them online. And so we have to understand, we got to take a step back. And I like to break down everybody's understanding of why you need to be more visible online, why you need to be more authoritative online, and why you need to become a person of influence online. And it comes down to marketing versus branding, right? A
Mhm.
lot of people don't understand the difference. You talked about building a personal brand. What does that actually mean? Well, my definition of marketing is what you say about yourself. Those are your social media channels, those are your websites, those are those things. Anything that you're putting out there, that's called marketing, ads, all that stuff. Branding, however, is what other people say about you after you've left the room. And that's the more important part, right? First party edification versus third party edification. It's one thing for Steven to go, "Hi, I'm Steven and I'm awesome,"
Mm.
right? That's marketing versus, "Hi, I'm Dave Fulk and I think Steven is absolutely amazing." That's
Yeah.
third party edification. That's branding. Third party edification holds a much stronger weight in people's opinions, right? It's like, oh, of course Steven thinks he's awesome because he's Steven, and so the third party edification is really important, especially we know how many people are going online and how many are choosing to work with you. If you own a business, you used to hear this concept all the time: speed to lead, speed to lead, speed to lead. That was beat down in everybody's minds. Well, it's no longer speed to lead because 74% of your ability to even get a lead is based on what these people see or find out about you online.
Yeah.
74% of your chance to even get a lead. So three-quarters of your chance to even get a lead to your business is based on what they find out about you or your business online. And so in today's day and age, another thing I like to say is the handshake has been replaced by the Google search.
Mm.
I'm a Midwest boy, grew up in a Midwest, USA, America, and you shake somebody's hand, you look them in the eyes, yes, sir, no, sir. And that's how you introduced yourself. Well, you just don't get that opportunity. We're doing a live virtual event right now that's international. Stephen, you and I have never met in person. We've never had a true handshake. It was a virtual handshake. And how did you search out me to be a speaker on this? You reached out to me based on what? Why did you reach out to me?
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, absolutely. Well, your reputation, your brand, the way you've marketed yourself, absolutely. I mean, like there's all the other people talking about you as well. So there you
Right.
go. Yeah,
We just heard from Brian, who was on here before.
exactly.
That's third party edification. I can't say, if you
That's right.
watch the previous speaker, his last 10 seconds, he was hyping me up, telling me how amazing I am and all that stuff. I didn't ask him to do that. That's straight third party edification. But you reached out to me, Stephen, to be a speaker today because of based on what you found online. Didn't know each other before this, right? You saw something that made you feel that I was trustworthy, credible, a force to be reckoned with, if you will, and you go, man, I think this guy would be a fantastic speaker. And then we met virtually and you confirmed all that and, solidified it and we're here, right? But it was your first impression of me online. That's why this is important. And you don't get a chance to make a second first impression.
Mm.
Going back to some statistics here, 68% of people believe that their first impressions are right. On average, first impressions of people are right 76% of the time. 65% of first impressions are made on what you see. What do I see when I see you? People are always quick to judge. We love our opinions and we don't like to change our minds.
Mm.
Cornell University recently just did a study on this, and it was so interesting to me. Is they brought about 50 people into two focus groups. They brought them into Group A and Group B. Group B, they went around and asked everybody to make a different type of face, and then they took a picture of them. Smile, scowl, look angry, look annoyed, and they would make that face and they'd take a picture of it. Then they'd have Group A sit down in a room and they would show that each person's face for 1 second, just 1 second. And then the group A had to write down what they thought about that person, who they thought that person was, what type of person they were, and how they made him feel. And like, no surprise, the people that are smiling, oh, this is a good guy. I'd like to go hang out, or the people that are scowling, like, oh, this is, they've got RBF and I don't like them and I don't trust them. And here's the craziest part. For 1 second, they never met. The groups didn't know who each other were. And Group A got 1 second. 6 months later, Cornell brought these people back to a mixer event, right? They put both groups in the room. And what they asked Group A to do was go interact with the Group B and come back and tell us what you think about that individual. Almost nothing changed. When they saw a picture for 1 second, 6 months before, they felt the same way about that person when they met them in person 6 months later, even though they had no idea who they were. So if that's not crazy, I don't know what is. That's why first impressions are so, so important.
Amazing. And this is very important now, especially in today's world, as you are describing and reinforcing digital. People don't know each other. So tell us, Dave, a little bit more about practical strategies that, businesses, individuals can put in place to get their marketing and their branding and their reputation up to that standard so that they can create success. What kind of strategies, practical strategies can people do?
Yeah, so it depends, right? So I'm going to give you some strategies of maybe just some first people getting started off. Maybe don't they have big budgets, and then it changes because online reputation management used to be reserved for the Fortune 100, the Fortune 500 companies, and things like that. And that's one of the unique things that we offer at Reputation Rhino is the opportunity for those small to medium businesses to actually be able to compete in the same realm and in the same market without having to have, a half a million-dollar marketing budget to set aside, for reputation management. And really, it comes down to one question, Stephen. What is somebody going to see when they Google you?
Mhm.
What are they going to see? And it's really important to understand if you're a business, um, if you if you're a business looking to raise capital and you're an investor, if you're an employee looking for a new job, if you're a customer doing research and they're going online and searching, you asked about the personal brand. The business has its own brand and the
Yeah,
personal brand has its own brand.
yeah.
And we're really, as a society, leaning more towards that personal brand. We want to understand it. We don't want this business entity that has no face behind it anymore. They want to know who's the person behind who's the wizard behind the curtain, if you will. And they want to know that. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're an executive at a company, it's really important for you to think about your personal brand as well as your business's brand, because your personal brand is as important, if not more important in some areas, especially if you're a smaller company. So what can you do? Get out there, right? Do something, build your reputation. Either you're going to control the narrative of what's being said online about you, or Google is. And guess what? Google doesn't get it right most of the times. So some of the things you can start with, online reputation management really is, it involves a combination of marketing, public relations, legal, SEO, strategies, and social media. Social media is the first and easiest place for people to start. It's generally low to no cost. It's easy for you to do. It doesn't take a lot of time. And the reason social is so important is 91% of online adults use social media regularly. More than 1 in 3 minutes online are spent on social media. 76% of users have purchased something they said they saw on social media. 44% of people prefer to learn about new products through short video content. Google is the number one search provider in the world. YouTube is the second. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the entire world where people are going to consume information. And the number one search term on there is how to, right? People want to be educated on how to do things. And so if, easy strategies of just start creating, how to do this stuff. A lot of people are scared that if they put their information out there, that somebody's just going to steal it and not hire them. Not true. Most people don't have time. Most people don't have the desire. Most people aren't going to stick with it. You're going to have a percentage of do-it-yourselfers, but by creating that how-to content, you're actually going to leverage yourself as an expert or a subject matter expert and authority in your field. And when they decide, you know what, I really don't want to do this on my own, they're going to think of you and come to you.
Yeah.
So social media is a great place to post content out there, and there's so many easy tools and AI is you can leverage. You're going to hear some AI experts later today. I got Manoush, my buddy, coming on talking AI. There's so many ways that you can leverage AI to help create content. And there's stuff like Sprout Social, or you can preload the stuff in there and it'll post for you. It doesn't take a lot of time or effort to do it. Do some videos. TikTok is the fastest growing social platform. And then second to that, content. Content is still king. Google loves content. Don't just generate AI content only. Google loves good quality content. So blogs, press releases, white papers, research reports, news or feature articles. Jump on a call like this with you and have the opportunity to speak with an expert and have an interview. And now we can take this recording, we can transcribe it, I can post it on YouTube, I can post it on a blog on my article, right? We can repurpose this content multiple ways.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say start with is just start doing the simple stuff that you can do on your own that's low or no cost. Something else that's really, really important if you're a business owner is you cannot ignore your online reviews. You have to focus on your online reviews. We know that 85% of people trust online reviews as much as a recommendation from a friend or a family member. So respond to them. People love Google loves it, and people expect you to respond to the reviews that they left online, right? And some sidebar notes on that. Respond empathetically. You know, even if they're attacking you, I know sometimes take a step back, take a deep breath, don't respond with emotion. You know, be the bigger person in this area, take it as a learning opportunity. Because what happens is if you respond with emotion and you get defensive and, oh, that's baloney, you didn't pay your bill, guess who else is going to see that? The other clients who are potentially looking at you and they're like, oh man, I don't want to work with this guy. He's a jerk. Like, why would I want to work with this guy? So respond to every review. If it's a negative review, take it as an opportunity to challenge that client. Ask them to reach out. See if you can win them back on a phone call. Because more often than not, if you just heard Brian, people want to be seen and heard. That's it. And you didn't give them an opportunity to be seen and heard by you. So they went online and they put it out there. Give them an opportunity to be seen and heard. I can't tell you how many times we've had people go back and change reviews or delete reviews altogether just by having the opportunity of being seen or heard. So some things on that in your email. If you ever have a concern or a complaint, call me. You know, put it in your signature email. Give the opportunity for them to do it. If you have an auto attendant, when people call in online, call in and listen to an auto attendant, press one for sales, press two for billing, whatever. Have an option on there. Hey, if you have a complaint, concern, or compliment, press five, and then have that go somewhere that somebody addresses that. Give people an opportunity to get out there and do it. So those are kind of some basic stuff. If you want some more advanced stuff, get a deeper strategy, sit down with an online reputation management company. We offer free consultations. You know, I'll give you a free 73 page book. Anybody that's on here today, Stephen, is getting a copy of that book. It's 73 pages guide. It's the ultimate guide to online reputation management. But figure out how you look online. And more importantly, determine how do you want to show up online? How do you
Yeah,
want people to see you? How do you want people to feel when they go and type your name into Google?
yeah,
How do you show up online? That's really important.
yeah. Dave, the as you're describing about personal brand, about business as well, a couple of things came to mind. One is even my own personal experience, right? So until about 2016, 2017, in the corporate environment, very insulated in the corporate environment, you can't really do a lot of personal branding, like you can't do a lot of posting because of company policies and so forth. But I think there are ways around it. Things have shifted in the last decade, I would say. You're describing about, writing some papers, right, publishing it differently. I got my first website when in 2018, I think it was, my own personal website. I got a bit of real estate and I started doing that. But I know blogs and so forth were there. But then the second part here is for businesses. Obviously, there's a cultural shift that's required here. So, do you recommend that companies actually take this reputation management into their strategy and adopt it with the right mindset so that they can be equipped to deal with not only issues in the future, but also just preparing for the future as well?
1,000%. Because your online reputation is impacted by what you post and what others say about you or your business online, right? The total amount to be the visibility of positive, negative, neutral content. Like I said, you're either controlling the content or the narrative online about you and your business, or Google is.
Yeah,
So if Google's in control of the narrative about you or your company, that's a scary place to be.
yeah,
And you know, some people think it's, oh, it's controversial to, you know, reputation management. Well, look, you mentioned I was a former police officer many years ago. One thing I learned as a police officer is there's two sides to every story, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. If the only story that's being told online is the one that others are telling,
mhm,
that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So if you're trying to provide positive and a more accurate representation of you, and you somewhere land in the middle, that's more true than not. So I don't think it's controversial at all. Now, I think if you're doing it and you're putting fake stuff out there, or if you're trying to do it to look a certain way or defraud people, absolutely it should be controversial. But if you're trying to be authentic and genuine of who you are as an individual and who your business is, it'll show up. People are onto this now. You know, they're starting to spot the fake gurus, you know, the rented Lambos and these stupid
Yeah.
videos and things like that. You know, people are smarter and wise enough to that. You know, if you're not genuine and authentic in your online communication, people spot it. It'll stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, it's really important for a business to do so, because in a business it's a more competitive environment. You know, you're going to have competitors that are out there. We have you know, smear campaigns that we deal with. We have a lot of clients who didn't
Mm.
do anything about their reputation. Their competitors want to come gain some market share. And so they created a whole bunch of negative content, negative pieces, and negative websites bashing them. And it hurts their business because they didn't take a proactive approach to it. And now they're in the repair stage where we're having to negate that stuff. Where if you can take a proactive approach to it, you know, we service three types of clients: a build client, a protect client, or a repair client.
Yeah.
If you're in the build or the protect stage and the negative stuff hasn't happened yet, great. Be proactive about it. It should be part of your marketing budget. It's not a, hey, I'm going to do this for a couple months and it's done. Online reputation management should be an ongoing part of your marketing budget and strategy indefinitely. You know, it may be more upfront as you're building the foundation. You know, if we're using the analogy of building the building, right? There's that foundational stuff, and then it lessens off as that now you're just changing the decor and changing the lights and putting in the windows. So it lessens, but it should be a constant online strategy for you and your business, especially more and more people going online. We know three-quarters of your ability to even generate a lead or a new client are based on what they see about you online.
Yeah, and it's such an important aspect to be proactive. I deal with a lot of clients and with boards as well, where crisis management is a huge thing where they've had a cyber attack, for example, or they've had a challenge with a particular competitor who has really bashed them left, right, and center. Then how do you actually deal with that? And many a time, some of these companies don't even have strategies in place to do it. So I take your point of being proactive about it and how to respond in a timely manner, but in the most measured way. And that comes down to the core of what you're talking about, reputation management here. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, being proactive is so much better because if you have a strong online authority online already and you control the narrative and you have a lot of positive articles and interviews and all that stuff on there, maybe something bad does happen. Maybe somebody takes a shot at you. Maybe a competitor does come after you, right? The goal is if you were proactive and you had that stuff, their stuff isn't going to make that much of an impact. You know, if you don't, maybe it shoots to the top of page one. It's very prevalent. It's very damaging. But if you spent some time to be proactive, work with an online reputation management company, done some of this stuff yourself, maybe it only goes to the top of page two. Maybe it doesn't even make it onto page two, you know? And so it's a mitigating that future risk of, look, I've been in business long enough. I've been involved in plenty of businesses. It's going to happen. You're going to have some haters at some point. The more you grow, the more impact you start to make, the more nervous you make other people and competitors, the more they're going to come after you. At some point in time, you're going to have haters. If you haven't had them yet, congrats, just know they're coming.
Dave, this is wonderful, and thank you so much for enlightening us with these strategies and with this true concept of online reputation management that should be implemented within organizations, within entrepreneurs themselves. Before we conclude, Dave, any challenge back to the audience that you want to share?
The challenge for you is go Google yourself and what shows up. Are you proud of what's there? Are you excited if you're a teacher, are you excited for what your students are finding out about you? If you're a business owner and you're trying to hire employees, are you excited about what they see? If you're not excited and proud about what's online, you have to do something about it, right? You can't play ignorant. You can't be an ostrich and bury your head in the sand. It's happening whether you like it or not. So the challenge to you is go Google yourself. And if you're not happy about what you see online, come up with how do you want to be seen to the world? What needs to change? What should the narrative be? And then start to determine a plan of how you can attack that.
Mm.
creating content. You can do a lot of stuff on your own. Like I said, start with social, start with writing blogs. You can do so much on your own, creating professional profiles. Go create a Medium account and start posting, thought leadership articles and things like that. You see me, I still post on LinkedIn, post articles on LinkedIn. That's stuff that you can do. Some of you that are a little bit further, go seek a professional help. But my challenge to you, Google yourself. If you don't like what you see, figure out what you want to show up, how you want to show up to the world.
Wonderful, Dave. We appreciate you for sharing your insights, for being with us here today, all the way from the US. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, and we'll be in touch again, Dave. Thank you.
Absolutely, Stephen. Thank you.
Wonderful.